As the lights prepare to blaze one final time and the ballroom braces itself for a night that will crown a champion, Strictly Come Dancing 2025 is heading into its live grand final with far more at stake than a single silver trophy. Speaking ahead of this weekend's climactic showdown, finalists Karen Carney, Amber Davies and George Clark reflect on journeys that have transformed them, emotionally, professionally and personally, over 13 intense weeks. For each of them, the glitter ball has become symbolic rather than central. What truly matters, they say, is what the experience has unlocked inside them. It's not about the glitterball trophy, says former Lioness Karen Carney. It's so much bigger than that. Karen Carney. From broken confidence to ballroom belief. Viewers have watched Karen's transformation unfold week by week. From a softly spoken former footballer tentatively stepping onto the dance floor, to an elegant, commanding finalist now tipped as the favorite to win. At 38, Karen has already made history simply by reaching the final, becoming the first football star in 21 years to do so. Yet she admits the reality of the moment still hasn't fully sunk in. It feels weird and I can't quite believe it, she says. But I'm really proud. Karen's outlook is shaped by a career that taught her how fleeting success can be. Football, she reflects, moves at brutal speed. One minute I was a 17-year-old footballer who burst onto the scene, and the next I was old, retired and couldn't move. Life goes very, very quick. That awareness pushed her to savor every moment of Strictly, particularly after the difficult years that followed her early retirement. A crisis after the final whistle. Forced to retire at 31 after a succession of injuries, Karen found herself grappling with a profound loss of identity. I had a total crisis of confidence, she admits. I couldn't figure out how to fix that. For 5 or 6 years, she says, she felt crushed, unsure where she fit once the structure and purpose of elite sport disappeared. But through those years, Strictly became a kind of refuge. Every Saturday I'd watch it at home, she recalls. I'd fall in love with the dancers and their journeys. I'd forget about everything else. In her heart, Karen believed that if she ever had the chance to take part, it could help rebuild what she had lost. I always knew Strictly would be that thing. And it absolutely has. She pauses, then adds simply. This is by far the happiest I've ever been. Sequins, feathers, and a stolen flat cap. Karen jokes that she's been living her best life in sequins and feathers, embracing every aspect of the Strictly experience with childlike joy. She's drummed with the live band, collected signed photos from costume designer Vicky Gill, and even had one of her outfits autographed. And then there's the confession. I've been naughty, she laughs. I nicked my Peaky Blinders hat. The flat cap, worn during her Brummy-inspired Argentine tango, was quietly claimed as a souvenir. "I never thought I'd do it again, so I took it as a memento," she says. "Now I've got to find it again for Saturday." That dance, she explains, marked a turning point. "We dipped for about 4 or 5 weeks before that," she says. "This number was about representing Birmingham. I told myself, you cannot let your city down." She arrived at rehearsals fully immersed in character, much to the amusement of her partner, Carlos Gu. Carlos Gu. She became a princess's. Carlos has had a front row seat to Karen's transformation, and his pride is unmistakable. "When I first met her, she was not confident and very insecure," he recalls. "Then came the waltz. That was the moment she became a princess. It was one of the best moments of my life to see her like that." She was so beautiful. For Karen, the partnership has been life-changing. "I've smiled like I never have before," she says. "I feel a responsibility to give everything I've got, because when I was sitting on the sofa, Strictly helped me." "Now I have to give that feeling back." Amber Davies, dancing under the weight of expectation. If Karen's journey has been about rediscovering belief, Amber Davies has been about resilience, and confronting the sometimes harsh realities of public perception. Despite consistently high scores and glowing praise from judges, Amber has found herself at the center of online debate. Accused of being too confident, too polished, even too good for the show, her background in musical theater became, paradoxically, a liability. She is the only finalist to have faced the dance-off this series. "I didn't know what my purpose was on Strictly until I realized I was getting a lot of negative comments for being good," she says. Her frustration is palpable. "I can't believe I have to say this in 2025, Amber continues. But being ambitious as a woman, being confident, having dreams and working hard does not mean you're stuck up or arrogant." A familiar narrative. Amber is painfully aware that hers is not a new story. "We've seen it every single season," she says, citing names like Alexandra Burke, Ashley Roberts and Danny Mac. "It didn't come as a surprise, but it's definitely ramped up in the past couple of weeks." She acknowledges the nuance. "I understand where opinions come from. I do have experience compared to the other finalists, and I'm not shying away from that." But she insists the support outweighs the criticism. The love actually outweighs the hate. "And I'm really glad we had that moment over the weekend to say, be kind. I fought to be here." Amber is unequivocal in defending her place in the final. "I feel like I've worked just as hard as the other finalists," she says. I had to fight to get here. A last-minute signing after Donnie Dyer withdrew through injury days before launch. Amber admits the final was never on her bingo card. Even getting the phone call felt like I'd won, she says. Her message, learned the hard way, is clear. Whatever you care about in life, go for it with two hands. Don't undermine yourself to make other people feel comfortable. That's not what we're here for. Nikita Kuzmin. Why not push the boundaries? For professional partner Nikita Kuzmin, Amber's ability opened doors creatively. It's outstanding to see your partner shine, he says. When you have someone who can do everything you ask, why not go for it? The pair embraced innovation, a challenge Nikita relished. The show's been on over 20 years. Doing something new is exciting. George Clark. From TikTok to the ballroom. For content creator George Clark, the journey has been about stepping far outside his comfort zone. Despite boasting 2 million TikTok followers, George admits Strictly was a shock. I'm used to performing into a camera close to my face, and cutting out all the rubbish bits, he laughs. Unfortunately, I can't do that on the dance floor. At 26, he says this is the first project his family truly understands. They've always supported me, but this is different. Strictly has also introduced him to a new demographic. It's weird walking down the street now, he says, describing grandmothers asking for selfies and teenagers screaming his name. His partner Alexis War laughs that he simply blocks it out. Dating lingerie model Yasmin Bennett, George also notes the broader cultural moment. After Angry Ginge won I'm a Celebrity, 2025 could be the year two social media stars win the biggest reality shows. Representation matters. A final filled with emotion. Saturday's final will also mark the last time Tess Daly and Claudia Winkleman host the show. We're aware of how big a part they are, George says. It's a privilege to be part of one of their seasons, let alone their last. After just 13 weeks, he says the bond feels deeper, they genuinely care. You can see why they've been part of the show for so long. As the music swells and the ballroom fills with emotion, one truth unites all three finalists. Winning is no longer the point. Becoming something stronger than before is.